Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. I'm Rylan. Jade has been a friend of Princess Kitana since they were children. They grew up to be strong, independent fighters capable of protecting themselves. Jade spent most of her existence as Shao Kahn's personal assassin, working alongside Kitana and Mileena for reasons that were not even clear to her. Her motives in supporting and working for Shao Kahn were always shrouded in mystery, but it is assumed that she was simply accompanying Kitana as someone who cares for her. Jade's Girls Gone Wired video was the first to really capture her self-assured, feisty, and confident nature. She has established herself as a trustworthy, genuine, and dedicated companion to Kitana on multiple occasions, and has consistently been recognized for her allegiance to the princess. She is extremely brutal, condescending, disdainful, and pompous towards anyone whom she views as personal enemies, and fears no one who dares to stand in her way. Donning a green attire and a dark complexion, Jade carries her signature magical staff and razor rings with her to every fight. She is a highly trained warrior and a personal assassin at the command of her emperor, Shao Kahn. She eventually betrays the evil emperor and seeks out a path of righteousness alongside her lifelong friend, Kitana. So, join us today as we dive straight into her storyline involving her involvement in the games. But before we go into our explanation, we have just a very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks. Now, let's begin. A brief history of Jade. We are first introduced to the character of Jade during the Mortal Kombat tournament that Shao Kahn orchestrated. Her role during the tournament was not that of a fighter, but rather a spy gathering intel for her emperor. Jade is a devout Edenian warrior who does not put up with anyone who brings danger to her land. Her ancestors were not from Outworld. Much like Kitana, she is native to Edenia, which Shao Kahn, the emperor, overcame many years ago. After his conquest was triumphant, Shao Kahn had Jade trained under his tutelage in the ways of the assassin. She honed her Edenian capabilities and became a skilled and fearsome assassin warrior on the side of Outworld, alongside Princess Kitana, who was her lifelong friend. As Shao Kahn was going forward in his forced invasion of Earthrealm, Kitana was found guilty of killing Mileena while the second tournament was underway. In an attempt to evade the wrath of the wretched emperor, who would order her execution, Kitana decided to flee to Earthrealm. Furious at Kitana's act of treachery and her cowardice, Shao Kahn ordered two of his most capable assassins to follow her to Earthrealm and bring her back. The two assassins were Jade and Reptile. Although Jade was under the impression that Kitana would be brought back alive, Reptile was ordered to subdue her by using any amount of necessary force. As the two pursued Kitana and searched Earthrealm endlessly, Jade found herself to be under emotional turmoil. She was conflicted about her decisions on whether she wanted to blindly follow the commands of the Emperor, or if she wanted to save her friendship with Kitana and display her loyalty. Eventually, Jade came to terms with her decision, and the two were able to locate Kitana. She decided that she halts Reptile's attempt to kill Kitana, and instead side with her friend. After defeating Reptile, the two Edenian warriors paved their way to fight alongside Raiden and his Earthrealm warriors against the forces of Outworld and the malevolent Emperor Shao Kahn. However, the first order of business for the two was to ensure that essential details regarding the past of the now revived Queen Sindel and Kitana were informed promptly to Sindel. With Jade's help, it was feasible for Kitana to follow through with her mission, and for Sindel to rebel against the Emperor when her memories were restored. After this, Liu Kang quickly overcame Shao Kahn, and Kitana embarked on her journey to set Edenia free from the grasp of Outworld. During the events of the formation of the Deadly Alliance, Jade tried fighting alongside Kitana and her companions from the Earthrealm against the duo of Quan Chi and Shang Tsung. Unbeknownst to her, the battle had already taken place, and she was late to join Kitana and her friends, who had already been defeated and killed. Devastated, Jade fell down to her knees beside her fallen friend and was overwhelmed with remorse. But Jade's mourning period was interrupted as she noticed a giant menacing monster approaching her. Then, hiding in the surrounding shadows, she observed Onaga, the Dragon King, effortlessly bringing everyone back to life, including Kitana and her slain allies. Furthermore, Onaga was able to command the warriors, who were now under his spell and were ready to obey any and every command that he gave. His first instruction for his recruits was to assemble in the living forest. Jade secretly pursued the revived warriors, only to learn that they had already conquered Edenia and captured Queen Sindel. When Jade discovered her queen was being safeguarded by the revived Kitana, she fought the latter and succeeded in imprisoning her while liberating Sindel. Jade and Sindel were compelled to use the Outworld Gateway to escape when Kitana started yelling for the guards to apprehend them. Jade also noticed Tanya, an Edenian traitor, who was seen standing beside Onaga before they entered the portal. Jade made it her paramount goal, while in Outworld with Sindel, to aid her queen in freeing Kitana from the Dragon King's enchantment and to strive for retribution on Tanya, who was successful in betraying Edenia for the second time, which Jade swore would be her last. After Kitana, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, Jax, and Kung Lao were freed from Onaga's control by the combined efforts of the Spirit Liu Kang and Irmak, the might of Nightwolf's ritual, called Sin Eater, was enough to render the Dragon King unconscious for a solid amount of time. As the warriors basked in their glory, they were completely unaware of the dangers that were brewing and how much more threatening it would be than the presence of Onaga. The threat of Armageddon becoming a reality was on the horizon, the realms showing signs of imbalance and a plethora of warriors starting to become stronger. The only possible way to prevent Armageddon from happening was for Taven, an Edenian demigod, to vanquish Blaze, the fire spawn, and take control of Blaze's powers to negate the might of the warriors in its wake. Although the path to preventing Armageddon sounded simple, the obstacles that the Force of Darkness presented were dangerous, as they were also interested in acquiring the powers of Blaze by overcoming the Forces of Light. In an effort to thwart the plans of the Forces of Darkness and to stop them from acquiring the powers of Blaze, Jade joined the Forces of Light and followed their plans to vanquish Blaze before the others could get their hands on its powers. During the Battle of Armageddon, she was seen fighting Tanya, the Edenian traitor, and there was no definite victor for that fight. Eventually, as we all know, the Battle of Armageddon ends when Raiden and Shao Kahn are the last two surviving combatants, and Raiden is further killed by the Emperor. As the timelines shift with the death of Raiden in the Battle of Armageddon, we are presented with the scene of the first Mortal Kombat tournament taking place. In the beginning, we see Jade standing beside Shang Tsung and Kitana. During the processions of the tournament, Jade is still shown to be Kitana's lifelong friend and bodyguard. As Sonya Blade was attempting to free Jax from Shang Tsung's captivity inside Goro's lair, the cunning sorcerer sent Kitana and Jade to stop the special forces from releasing her ally. Eventually, they were both defeated by Sonya, and she was successful in her mission. We next see Jade as she confronts the intruders from Earthrealm inside the armory. The intruders consisting of Lord Raiden, Johnny Cage, and Jax, who were attempting to escape from the area when Jade faced them down and was destroyed by Jax, who was later successful in rendezvousing with his allies and saving Sonya Blade. After Kitana failed to stop the intruding Lin Kuei warriors, Shao Kahn admonished her during her second tournament and told her to leave the Colosseum. Jade accompanied Kitana into the Wastelands as her bodyguard. After catching up with her friend, Jade pointed out Shao Kahn's irritation with Kitana's conduct and begged the princess to act more appropriately. Nothing that she had ever witnessed the Emperor be so enraged with Kitana as he was just now, Jade was worried about her friend's safety. Kitana became even more agitated as a result of this conversation, and Jade decided to leave her friend alone, saying that she would talk to her when she was more willing to listen. Only a few seconds after leaving the Wastelands, Raiden showed up and told Kitana that the Flesh Pits, a site she was not allowed to visit, held the answers to her questions and concerns. Following Raiden's guidance, Kitana started making her way to the Flesh Pits. While traversing through the living forest, Kitana yelled Jade's name and mentioned how she was keeping an eye on her and pursuing her. Coming out of the shadows, Jade stated that she did not challenge the Emperor's commands, and that she had been instructed by him to stop Kitana from entering Shang Tsung's flesh pits. She then pleaded Kitana to abandon her senseless mission. However, Kitana wouldn't go back. Therefore, a fight ensued, in which Kitana came out triumphant. Kitana proceeded to the flesh pits to seek answers after departing from a beaten Jade in the living forest. After learning of Melina's existence and the subsequent experiments that Shang Tsung was conducting in his flesh pits, Kitana reprimanded the sorcerer for his actions and summoned him in front of Shao Kahn. Kitana was astounded to see that the Emperor praised Shang Tsung instead of ordering his execution. She was also shocked to find out the truth about her kingdom of Edenia and its history against Outworld. Jade, who had been listening to the whole argument the entire time, emerged from the shadows, as Kitana was being led outside the room's premises by Tarkatan guards. Jade set out to make atonement and release Kitana from her imprisonment in the tower, after realizing her decision to fulfilling Shao Kahn's orders had put her closest friend in danger. While attempting to flee Kitana from her imprisonment, Jade came across Baraka in the armory, who would not allow her to talk to Kitana. She openly made fun of him, equating him to be a guard dog, before she got the better of him after defeating him in a battle. Jade further roasted Baraka with a cryptic insult before stepping on his face, knocking him out, while the Tarkatan criticized the people of Edenia for their lack of loyalty. Progressing through the armory in search of Kitana, Jade found her friend constricted by some magical barriers and under the protection of Shiva the Shokan. Determined to help her friend, Jade confronted Shiva and beat her in battle before freeing Kitana from her captivity. Reuniting once more, the two friends were ecstatic to be on the same side once again, before they were interrupted by the sound of oncoming guards, who were following Jade into the armory. Jade was instructed by Kitana to locate Raiden and enlist his aid. Jade reluctantly consented and ran back to the wastelands, where Mileena discovered her. Jade made the remark that she was far more of a sister to Kitana than Mileena could ever be, after Mileena tried to overcome her, but failed. The warriors from Earthrealm drew near after Mileena was dominated in the battle. Smoke thought Jade had turned against Kitana, while he saw the fallen body of Mileena on the ground, mistaking it to be the princess herself. Seeing this, Smoke assaulted her before she had the chance to defend herself, and Jade had to beat him despite her reluctance because of a misunderstanding. When Kitana was captured and her location was revealed to the other Earthrealm warriors by Jade, the Shaolin, Kung Lao, and Liu Kang were motivated to go and rescue her. Later, when Shao Kahn infiltrated his invasion of Earthrealm, Jade joined the defending forces under the guidance of Raiden. While in the temple during Raiden and Liu Kang's absence, Jade assisted the warriors in defeating the plethora of Cyber Lin Kuei that had ambushed and outnumbered them. Although the heroes were able to deal with the cyborgs effectively, the tables were turned when a resurrected and mind-controlled Queen Sindel arrived and single-handedly overcame all of the remaining Earthrealm warriors. As the overpowered Queen Sindel ripped her way through the warriors, Jade was one of them who suffered at the hands of her previous queen. Following her demise, Jade's soul was seized by the sorcerer Quan Chi, who subsequently revived her in her Revenant form, ready to fulfill each and every command by the wicked sorcerer. Last seen in the Netherrealm alongside the likes of Smoke and Cyber Sub-Zero in their Revenant forms, Jade was commanded by Quan Chi to fight Raiden, who sought the aid of the sorcerer against Shao Kahn. However, before the fight could reach a conclusion, Raiden departed from the Netherrealm because of some insight clarity that he had reached during the battle. Following this, Raiden had attempted to free his former allies from the control of Quan Chi and rid them of their Revenant forms, but to no avail. Fast forwarding to the events of Mortal Kombat 11, we see Jade in her Revenant form informing the Revenant Liu Kang and Kitana, who were posing as the new rulers of Netherrealm, of the ongoing siege at the hands of the Special Forces. Furthermore, when Kronika merged the timelines, a time-displaced Jade alongside Kitana and many others were spawned into the Colosseum. There, her first order of business was to reunite with her lover, Kotal Khan, and aid him in his escape from the ensuing battle. After regrouping and healing any previous wounds, Jade and Kotal decided to explore the lost hive of the kitten in search of Shao Kahn, who had gone into hiding. There, time-displaced Jade is attacked by the Revenant form of Jade, and also Devora, whom she defeats in order to protect Kotal from further harm. After Jade finds Shao Kahn in the Tarkatan camp, she battles Collector before taking out the Tarkatans. After gaining the upper hand, Jade notices that Kotal is about to execute the Tarkatans out of pure rage. She then intervenes and stops Kotal from doing so, as she doesn't want to allow her lover to stoop to the same level of brutality and hatred as Shao Kahn. In doing so, Jade defeats Kotal, and the two of them are captured and imprisoned by Shao Kahn. During their captivity, Jade was being tortured by Scarlet, who was using her blood magic to feed off of Jade's Edenian blood. She is eventually interrupted and stopped at the arrival of Kitana, who is being escorted by two lowly soldiers who want to present her to Shao Kahn. Scarlet was able to decipher that the soldiers were Shaolin, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao in disguise, and as the battle ensued, the three were able to free Jade from her shackles. After escaping and regrouping, Jade informed the trio about how she and Kotal were captured. They were soon confronted by Baraka and his Tarkatan army. In an effort to make amends, Kitana tried convincing Baraka to be an ally of Kotal rather than a pawn of Shao, and the Tarkatan agreed. Following this, to prevent Kotal from being put to death, Kitana, Jade, and their allies attacked the arena with the help of Baraka, Shiva, and Aaron Black. After Katana was deemed the Khan of the Outworld, Jade healed Kotal of his injuries and allowed him to rest. As the events of the Time Merger carried on, and the warriors of the Earthrealm and the allied forces gathered together against the might of the Netherrealm and Krenika's pawns, the heroes were finally able to recruit Karen's aid in traversing the deadly waters to reach Krenika's keep. Aboard the ferry, Jade accompanied all the allying heroes and assisted in the assault and further siege of the keep. Although we do not see the time-displaced Jade in many actions during the assault, we do see the Revenant Jade against fire god Liu Kang in his penultimate battle before he challenges the mighty Krenika herself. In the aftermath that followed, after the glorious battle between Krenika and Liu Kang, Jade was seen in the Netherrealm in her Revenant avatar alongside Kung Lao and Cabal, attempting to gather their forces in order to defend Krenika's keep. Same as before, the time-displaced Jade spawned in the Colosseum and attempted to come to Kotal's aid. She took Kotal to the Soul Chamber after Shao Kahn had fractured his spine so that he could heal from his injuries. Before departing so Kotal could rest, Jade was confronted by Shiva, who was accompanied by Fujin, Nightwolf, and Shang Tsung. Not willing to listen to anyone who would side with the treacherous Shang Tsung, Jade ignored what Shiva had to say and instead challenged her to a battle. Shiva was able to defeat Jade before proceeding with her objectives. After a while, as Fujin, Shang Tsung, and Nightwolf made their way to Shang's island, or what was left of it, they were ambushed by the Revenants Jade and Cabal. Failing to stop them in their tracks, Jade is defeated by Shang Tsung, while Cabal is overcome by the might of the wind god Fujin. Towards the end of these events, when Shang Tsung successfully made his way to the Hourglass and Krenika alongside Sindel and Shao Kahn, Revenant Jade attempted to put a stop to his terror in hopes of defending Krenika. Fighting Sindel in a losing battle, Jade is killed alongside her longtime friend, Katana. How the character evolved into a fierce warrior. Initially presented as one of Shao Kahn's spies and assassins, Jade was always assumed to be a deadly warrior, adept in the ways of killing her targets through use of stealth, her arsenal of weapons, and her skills as a one-on-one combatant. She was always shown to be loyal to her lifelong friend and fellow Edenian, Princess Katana. In the original timeline, Princess Katana was friends with Jade as a young child. She spent most of her existence as Shao Kahn's personal assassin, working alongside Katana and Melina for reasons that were unknown. Jade was given the command to subdue and capture Katana for Shao Kahn once the latter turned against the Emperor. She finally made the decision to follow her friend and has since faithfully supported Katana in her mission to liberate their homeworld and bring it back to its former glory. Jade is currently a general in the Edenian army and is still faithfully serving Katana and her mother Sindel in the liberated Edenia. Shao Kahn has always aimed for Jade to become one of his mindless and ruthless killers who would simply require one command and execute anyone without any remorse. Initially attempting to faithfully serve the malevolent Emperor, Jade tried to become exactly what he wanted, but eventually Jade's character development, through support from her friend Katana, overcomes the need to be Shao Kahn's pawn and leads her to a way of righteousness and fighting for the good side. Never wavering from her confident persona, Jade has always been a loudmouth who doesn't shy away from roasting her opponents before she beats them in battle. This is evident in her confrontations against Shiva, the Shokan, and Baraka, the Tarkatan, who lost the Battle of the Words the moment Jade decided to open her mouth. Towards the end of her story, Jade is shown to be faithful to her original personality of being a sassy, condescending, and arrogant fighter who backs up her claims through her abilities and fighting prowess. The only difference in her personality was that she had made her decision not to be a mindless pawn for Shao Kahn, and instead fight for the good side and make her own decisions alongside her friend Katana. The mystery surrounding her death. In the current timeline, Jade is killed after her confrontation with the resurrected Queen Sindel, alongside various warriors of Earthrealm. In the gruesome scene, we see Sindel ripping out Jade's organs from her body and leaving her lifeless to rot alongside her fallen allies. Although before Sindel's arrival, Jade puts up a valiant effort in defending herself and her allies from the ambush of Cyber Lin Kuei, all of it amounting to nothing as Sindel is able to arrive and single-handedly defeat most of the Earthrealm warriors, who stood no chance against her powers, including Jade. After her demise, Jade's soul was captured by Quan Chi because of a deal he struck with Shao Kahn. Quan Chi used the souls of the fallen warriors and revived them as revenants in Netherrealm to serve his purposes mindlessly and to be his pawns. Unfortunately for Jade, she also became a Revenant and retained only the most negative emotions while excluding any sense of humanity from her mind under Quan Chi's influence, who successfully corrupted all of the fallen warriors. There is an argument to be made that the Revenant form of Jade is weaker than her human form due to the fact that we see in Mortal Kombat 11 that the time-displaced Jade was able to overcome her Revenant form. Statistically, the Revenant Jade has also lost more battles than her human form, which is surprising because, as a Revenant, her abilities grow even further, and she gains the power of necromancy, which was not highlighted to be part of her Adenian capabilities. What was Jade really like in the games? Jade was initially remarkably similar to Kitana and Mileena in the looks of a female assassin dressed in a skin-tight green attire. The only thing that stood out was maybe her darker complexion. She initially appeared in Mortal Kombat as a secret unplayable character with a moveset mostly resembling Kitana's, including the usage of the fan blade weapon. The player would engage in a one-person game on the match right before the question mark on the mountain's map in order to approach Jade. The player would then immediately be transferred to Goro's lair to battle Jade if they managed to win at least one round of the game, utilizing just the low kick button. Ever since her official debut as a playable character in the games, Jade has become a fan favorite due to her unique playstyle. Even though she was initially just a color palette swap of Kitana, her moveset consisted of dashes and powerful green magic, thanks to her Adenian heritage and her use of a staff-like weapon that provides great range and devastating damage. Jade's personality always remained the same and faithful to her original design. She was always seen as a cocky fighter who would be confident in facing any adversary. Alongside Kitana, her lifelong friend, Jade was the most comfortable as they spent their whole lives in each other's company. Together, these two Adenians posed a massive threat to any opponent that dared to face them. A sign of their true capabilities is when Kitana is able to merge the forces of Outworld against Shao Kahn through the aid of Jade and eventually become the Khan of Outworld. What made Jade a dangerous warrior? Trained in the ways of being an assassin under Shao Kahn, Jade is a deadly warrior hailing from Edenia. Her Edenian heritage provides Jade with magical powers that allow her to imbue herself with energy and use it offensively or defensively. After engulfing her body with her energy, Jade can use it to dash and hurt her opponents, or make a protective layer over her body which saves her from projectiles or combos. She is proficiently trained in using a plethora of weapons, but her favorite is shown to be her staff and razor rings. Razor rings are basically a combination between razors and boomerangs, and they're just as deadly and fun as they sound. Her staff also exhibits signs of being a magical weapon, which allows her to perform deadly combinations when she catches her opponents off guard. Jade is also shown to be capable with dealing with enemies that outnumber her immensely. Her use of her staff allows her to gauge the difference between her and her enemies, and she is shown to be quite agile as well. A relatively intelligent combatant, Jade is shown to be overconfident and zealous, which sometimes can lead to her downfall. Jade was the only hidden character with an explicit, unique talent when she was initially introduced in Mortal Kombat 2, complete immunity to projectile assaults. Any objects thrown at her will pass by unharmed. With the exception of that, she uses a pair of copper fans throughout games, much like Kitana. She showed a little bit more skill than her other rivals when she became a playable character. Jade, in contrast to Kitana and Mileena, possessed two weapons, a steel staff with razor-sharp points that could change into a supply of razor rings. She was most proficient with the staff and preferred weaponry over hand-to-hand combat. The staff left purple energy trails during one of her fatalities, and her wind posture suggests magical capabilities. In addition, the staff has undergone two redesigns. It was first shown as previously indicated, but in Deception, it has a bigger spearhead at one end, and in Shaolin Monks, it is a plain iron staff without any sharp ends. The staff in MK 2011 returns to its original steel design, but makes frequent use of the purple aura when being used, and has the flexibility to alter length. Additionally, she showed proficiency with her razor rings, being able to control their direction and collect her weapons when they came back to her without getting hurt. Projectiles appear to fly straight through Jade when she emits a force rejection barrier surrounding her, which can help her in gaining distance towards or away from her enemies. She had a minor appearance in a Mortal Kombat movie. Played by Irina Panteva, a Siberian supermodel, Jade makes an appearance in the movie Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Jade is shown as a character that blindly stays loyal to Shao Kahn till the bitter end, despite being a good character in the games. Kahn himself has her eaten and consumed by a living gargoyle in his castle, owing to her ability and failure to stop the Earthrealm warriors from fleeing after failing to seduce Liu Kang and leading the other warriors to an ambush. Additionally, there is little to no evidence in the film that Jade and Kitana have a previous relationship, as they are shown to be lifelong friends in the original stories. Instead, their relationship is further explored in the Mortal Kombat novel, which explains the possible disdain between the two that was shown to be apparent in the movie. Although her character was wildly unexplored and eventually killed off in the movie, seeing Jade be part of the live-action rendition of Mortal Kombat was good enough for the fans of the character, but in lieu of this, it has left us wanting more. Conclusion. Jade is an extremely formidable fighter who possesses the incredible talents and skills of an assassin, combined with her one-on-one fighting prowess. She is a loyal friend and bodyguard to Kitana, and supports her in her escapades, even if it means she would risk her position in Outworld and her life in the process. Jade has also shown tremendous character growth over the story of the games, and she eventually grows out of being just a supporting character for Kitana, and instead becoming a full-fledged personality who plays a part in changing the game's story. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Marvelous Videos. If you liked our content, then please leave us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'm Rylan. Have a good one and be safe.